Well, time for this week's pickup video. I went up to Washington, D.C. this week on business. I didn't have a lot of chance to run around and look for things. I was on a pretty tight schedule. But I did hit some thrift stores and some other places in Washington, D.C. and on my way back home as I was driving. Mainly a lot of thrift stores, Goodwill, Salvation Army, Value Village or something like that. I can't remember what it was called. Found a lot of cool stuff. Of course, I went to my flea markets today and I found some stuff at the flea market. So let's go over what I found this week. Not a whole lot this week, but some interesting things. First off, I found a Pac-Man hat. This is a vintage Pac-Man hat. Got two of them. What is this, black? Can't tell what color this is. I'm colorblind. I think it's black. It looks black. Black and a red one. I'm sending the red one to my buddy SoCal Mike, who's my co-host for the ColecoVisions podcast, so he's getting this one. This one I don't know what to do with yet. I just thought it was kind of cool. Picked it up. And for my Nintendo NES, I picked up Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry, the ultimate game of cat and mouse. It's a platforming game made by High Tech. It's okay. It's not too bad. Plays the Tom and Jerry theme music as you're playing the game. I didn't get very far in it because I've just messed around with it to get a feel for it. So I'll play this some more later on and see how it is. And then the next thing I picked up from my Nintendo Entertainment System is Ring King by Data East. This is a arcade game that was made for the NES. It's a fairly decent boxing game. It's not too bad. It's not as good as Punch-Out, but it's very close. It is a lot of fun to play. The controls are really nice. I don't have any complaints about this game, so I'm kind of glad I added that to my collection. And the next thing I picked up for my Sega Genesis is called Fatal Rewind. On the back it says, first prize is your life. It's a game show in the 21st century and you're the entertainment. I didn't get a manual with this, so don't know what all they're talking about, but basically you got a little mech kind of guy that you can run around with, get power-ups, climb the walls, do all sorts of things. I didn't get very far in the game, but I don't know if I'm going to keep this or not. I'm on the fence. I'll play it some more and see if I like it or not. It was a really cheap game. It was $1. So since it had the case, I figured I'll go ahead and pick it up, see if I like it or not. If I don't like it, I can always take the little thing out of the case here and use it for a different game. Now for my ColecoVision, I picked up Threshold by Sierra Online. Now I didn't pick this up this week. I didn't find it in Washington or anything like that. This I purchased from that other auction site, eBay. Don't tell my co-host SoCal. Kick my butt. Anyway, I found this on eBay. I've been wanting to get it, so I picked it up. So this was an online purchase. Don't tell SoCal. Anyway, but I did find out in the wild Activision Decathlon for my ColecoVision system. I've got Decathlon on my Atari 2600, and it's a joystick breaker. Let me tell you, man, that thing's hard on joysticks. And unfortunately, those little nubby sticks on the ColecoVision do not do you any favors when you're trying to play this game. I got a bruise on my palm of my hand right here. I'm trying to play this frickin' game. I'm gonna make myself a custom controller. I got like two arcade buttons, like track and field in the arcade. You got the two buttons you can hit real fast, and you have the jump action button, whatever. I'm gonna make me one of those for this game. It is a lot of fun. I like this a lot better than the Atari version. Of course, I could plug my Atari stick into the ColecoVision. Didn't think of that. Either way, nice little sports game right there. And the next thing I picked up was another VFD. Now, I've already got one of these. This is Alien Attack by Coleco. And I got it with the box. The box, oh, the lights on it. and instructions. Cool. Now what's unique about this game is you see the gameplay up here. You got your little guy that runs around inside the maze. You're going to shoot these little red aliens. Well, it's kind of like Berserk a little bit. But what's interesting is you can't shoot and fire at the same time. You got to hold down the move button to move your guy around the maze. And then when you want to fire, you got to hold down the fire button and move the joystick in the direction you want to fire. It makes it pretty challenging. This one I'm going to keep. I'll probably get rid of my spare one I got up on the shelf. This one looks brand new, so I want to keep this one in my collection and do something else with the other one. And then next thing I picked up was the Coleco Zap. The video got up here is my wife and I playing it for my ColecoVision Nut series. Not ColecoVision Nut. Just a regular gameplay. Marcus and Willie Plays videos. That's them. And this is one of the ones I did on there. It's basically like reverse tug of war or Pong. You got this little LED, it bounces back and forth. And the closer you get the LED to you before you hit the button to send it back, will send it back faster to the other player. And you have to time it to deflect it. And as you deflect it to the other player, you'll see the red LED after each round start advancing towards that other player, saying they're starting to lose. Until finally, when you light the green LED all the way on the other side of the play field, that means that player lost. So, for a simplistic kind of game, this is actually a lot of fun. I'm pretty impressed with it. It's kind of ingenious what they came up with at Coleco. I had never seen one of these out in the wild before. I don't even remember them being for sale at the stores. I know they've been out there because I've seen catalog ads and stuff for them, classic catalog ads. So I don't know why this flew under my radar, because I love these type of games. So that was kind of nice, and of course I got the box. Yay! And let's see what else. I've already put it up here. Let me grab it real quick. Oh, where are you? I found me Galaxian for the Famicom. Now, they never made this game. I know it's green screen, so all the green right here is gone, but I can't help it. But anyway, they never made this game for the Nintendo NES. They made Galaga for the NES, but they never released Galaxian. And I love Galaxian. This is almost near arcade perfect. It's been Nintendo-wise, and you can see by the sprites and stuff, it's not exactly like the arcade, but man, is this thing fun. The sound effects are great in it. It's got great sound, so I'm just now getting into collecting Famicom carts. And the only carts I'm going to collect are the ones that weren't released on the NES, because I can't see any sense of owning the Famicom version of an NES cart. So I've been scouring around trying to find Famicom only games that I can pick up, especially arcade games. I've already got Frontline, which you saw in an earlier video, and Battle City, which is another arcade game. I know there's a Crazy Climber out there I'm trying to find, and also a Space Invaders I want to get. And Mappy. I want to get Mappy. We got Mappy laying on the NES, but I don't think they released Mappy, the regular arcade Mappy on the NES. I got to check into that before I go after one of those cartridges for my Famicom. And of course, the Famicom I got is one of those clone systems, little cheap knockoff things, but it does the job. It works just fine. And I plan on buying myself a Japanese AV Famicom. I know they go for like $100 or so, but I think I'm going to try to go after one of those, either on eBay, tell SoCal, or maybe one shows up on Game Gavel or something like that. I'll try to pick it up. You never know, I might find one in the wild. I'm pretty sure that store up in Michigan I visited, Retro Taku, I think he had some Famicoms up there, so my next trip up to Detroit, I might just buy one and bring it home with me. Something to think about. Anyway, the last game I picked up, now it's not really retro, it's on the PlayStation 2, but I love pinball games, especially electronic pinball games. Picked up Flipnik. This game is awesome. It's kind of like, well, it's a pinball game, but it's kind of like an adventure type of pinball game where you're not isolated just to one table on the play field. The ball actually can move to different areas in the play field, and the screen will scroll around to it. There's a lot of different levels in here that you can play. Uh, they got one level. It's called Optics, which kind of looks like a Tron kind of looking like thing. That's really cool to see. They got another one. It's called Metallurgy, which everything looks like it's metal and mercury and things like that. It's pretty cool. And then there's another type of pinball game on here, which kind of reminds me of a cross breakout in pinball. Instead of having flippers you control, you have little paddles that you can move back and forth to bounce the ball and destroy bricks, gather things, go to different parts of the screen and stuff. And there's a lot more tables in here that I haven't unlocked yet. And of course, I figured it was going to be good because it was made by Capcom. Capcom usually makes some good stuff. So this is kind of like a hidden gem on the PlayStation 2. If you like pinball games, especially video pinball games, you might want to check this out sometime. It's really neat. All right, and that's it for the pickups. Well, I got one more thing, which I picked up today at a new store that opened up in my town. It has a lot of Hot Wheels and vintage toys and antiques and things like that. It's a cool store. I gotta go back in there because they had a lot of other stuff. But they had this little race car in here. It's kind of neat. It's made by Tamiya. And what's cool about it, it's made for a special track. You can see it's got little guide wheels on it right here to go inside these special tracks. It's battery operated. You got different motors you can put in there for different speeds and stuff. It's actually a kind of neat little car. It was only $1, so I went ahead and picked it up for the heck of it. It's not video game related, but what the heck? It was cool. Sue me. Alright, anyway. That's it for all the game pickups. I got everything. Yeah, there's nothing else left. Probably won't be anything for next week because I'm on vacation. Yeah! So I ain't gonna do nothing. I make some videos, play some retro games. Gotta get ready to record the new podcast next weekend. Got a special surprise host that's joining the podcast. So it's gonna be SoCal Mike from Retro Gaming Roundup, GameGavel.com, and Retro Magazine. Myself and a third host that's pretty well known. He's into ColecoVision big time. So it's going to be nice to have 3 of us on the show. So anyway, thanks for watching the video, and catch you next time.